Hello. As you may already know, this is a spiritual channel. My name's Ace, and great for you to join this. Now, introduction's over. I just want to get a few disclaimers out of the way before we get into the topic of this video, whatever I titled it. Disclaimer number one. Whatever I'm about to talk about in this video will be about my energy specifically. So if anything I say in the video doesn't resonate with you or it hasn't happened to you yet, that is perfectly okay. However, this energy is universal. I am one of the people that have dabbled into it. So if you are willing to get into it, please stay tuned for further videos and leave a comment if you are willing to know more about it. Now, disclaimer number two. If you were reading the comments of my previous video, I was talking about making my own community and social media to talk with me privately and specifically, as well as get more exclusive deals and offers that I won't be showcasing to YouTube every single time. These resources and offers will also include like paid paid videos, weekly calls most likely with me, guided meditations, and of the other sorts. Merch and stuff like that I'm not too sure about. And also, it is really hot today, so if you see me sweating, sorry. Fucking summer. And yeah, no, I think those are the two disclaimers I just wanted to get out the way. Oh, and disclaimer number three. What I talk about from here and onwards may seem unbelievable, as I will start talking about the supernatural more frequently, but this is the first video to just dabble on what you like to see and how, and to showcase what path my channel will most likely be taking. Now, into the actual video. Hello. So what I wish to talk about today is something that I discovered called Ki and QI. So that is IQ backwards, but I wanted to elaborate what Ki is firstly before getting into further explanation. So Ki is actually neural energy. For a better explanation for a superpower that could correlate to this energy is psionic energy manipulation. True psionic energy manipulation means that it is the fundamental energy of all psionics. Psionics meaning telepathy, telekinesis, and other sorts that have powers revolving around the mind, or also known as psionics, powers that psychics use, like clairvoyance, etc. So when I say Ki and talking about today, I would like to elaborate a little bit further on what that is. So as I also just mentioned, yes, it is neural energy, but to be more exact, it is pure knowledge. Quite literally the actual essence of what knowledge is created from. Ki is actually found in everything and anything, in all energies and all matter. Ki's role within matter, at least from what I found out, is that it allows all energy to actually convey, keep, and retain. Well, keep and retain is not the same thing. Keep and also remake energy, remake knowledge, and also be able to refrain their form against certain circumstances. Like example, whenever you melt butter, it will keep that form of liquid until it starts cooling down and return to actual butter. Now, that is Ki right there. The fact that it's able to retain its solid state and not turn into something different all entirely because it was just now melted. It's able to keep its form due to Ki, or knowledge within the energy. Now, I have control over Ki, and it does work the way it sounds. It is quite literally able to convey energy and wow, this is really difficult to explain. It's able to convey mental intention into actual energy, if that makes sense. Basically taking your consciousness intent and turning it into a physical action, or mental action, or spiritual action. Ki interacts with every single playing field, including the spiritual plane, etheric plane, the physical one, and the oniric one, which is dreams, and the astral plane, as well as the mental plane and emotional plane. Ki is also connected to your own aura. Ki is a separate energy compared to your own body's energy, physical, mental, and spiritual energy. Holy cow, I'm sweating. And there are 4 energies, as I just basically listed. Whew, it is really hot. Okay. Now that I got the explanation of Ki, even though that was a little rickety, for a quick summary, Ki is pure pure knowledge. It's got a text message. Ki is pure knowledge that is able to turn your conscious intent into a physical manifestation. There you go. It is the energy of knowledge. Now, into actually what I wanted to talk about. Gauges, nodes, and rivers. So gauges in the ki form are actually substantial, basically pools of ki. And when having these types of gauges, it allows you to use ki easier, but it is more used around the nodes that surrounds it and the part of the body it encapsulates. Now, since people don't really know the existence of ki is actually naturally made into gauges depending on the activities you do and focus upon. Like athletes, for example, will take a boxer. A ki gauge would actually be on their back where the rhomboids are and literally just encapsulate the upper back because they are always punching, which works on your upper back. Now, keep working over it like a mixed martial artist, that will probably encapsulate their entire back, but also cover their upper back to their neck and from their core down to their pelvis. That basically covers their entire spine. Artists and different like book readers or mathematicians, for example, like professional ones, are most likely going to have a gauge within their own mind because that's where they're focusing on. Artists are able to create any image they want to and most likely draw it out or perfectly replicate an image that they see. Photographic memory, for example. Excuse me. Their ki would probably make a gauge within their mind because that is their passion and what they love to do. Now, we'll go on to rivers because, actually no, we'll go into nodes because that makes more sense when it comes to gauges. So nodes are energetic. Oh, the cat is back! The cat is back. Ray! Oh, the cat's walking around. I'll let it be. Okay, if it comes over here, we'll see it. Okay, so what was I saying? Right, nodes. So nodes are literally like small pockets of internal energy that is taken from external energy, like the nature. You get external energy by breathing. You could manually absorb it by, cat's looking at something, by naturally, meditating and actually forcing your nodes to absorb external energy. Now, you can use this external energy within your nodes to actually fuel more ki gauges and making them bigger and stronger. The bigger and stronger you do make them actually allows you to use them more effectively and efficiently. Now, can you see the cat? It's right there. All right. So I had to show y'all the cat. You okay, Ray? I named the cat Ray, by the way, when I turned off the camera. It is so cute, but I'm letting it be. All right. So next is, bless you. Next is rivers. Sorry if you hear a lawnmower in the back. I have horrible people. Okay. So rivers after the nodes, internal energy capsulating. You're able to fill them up. Oh my god, look at this little bug, so cute. Okay, let me stop getting distracted. Damn ADHD. Anyway, rivers. The rivers of ki are actually you can take it as like a circuit in an electric board, for example, or an electric wire. The rivers are what move the ki around from nodes and gauges to be able to be used differently in different areas. Now, a river is literally encapsulating your entire body. It's like your nervous system, basically. It flows through every ounce of your body, including even if you don't have a gauge. Yes, you're able to still have ki without having a gauge. A gauge isn't really necessary to use ki. I'll get to that in a few moments. So with the river, they first start off shallow, which doesn't allow you to actually use ki itself, which is the reason why your body is usually just whatever it wants to do and uses your physical energy and mental energy and spiritual energy. That cat is chilling, living its best life. Okay. What was I just talking about? Yeah, shallow. So these rivers can be opened up more if you focus on them more specifically. Now, they start opening up when you make more gauges. The more gauges you have, the more easier it will be able to store ki and also increase like the key's attributes, like nodes and rivers and the own properties of your own energy. So if you don't have a gauge, literally, if you don't have a gauge, you would become a riveter, or what I would call a riveter. A riveter is literally a person that uses their river as the gauge. There will always be nodes within your body that are like aligned with the river's current, because it needs to feed off of something, which is the external energy into internal energy, and it will naturally fuel into your rivers. But the reason why you can't create a key gauge is because, one, you either don't have a specific passion, two, you don't specifically understand where you're going in life and kind of just letting life push you where you want to go, or three, the river is taking all the internal energy from the nodes before it can actually stabilize into one specific spot. Now, let me explain the importance of a river and a gauge, because as I just explained, a river can be used as a gauge. So what's the point of a gauge, right? So the process of making a gauge out of a river, the reason why you should, is because when you make a gauge in your key pools, in your key river, basically, it will be a lot easier to actually use the key. While using a river, it's not really specific on where you're empowering, because it will always just be flowing through you. You just have key flowing through you, but it's not actually being sustained or fully used to its fullest potential. Now, making a gauge, it can increase its own size to increase your energy, your key pool. While just being a riverden, you just actually it's not actually growing, because it's just being used. Like, the internal energy is just instantly being turned into key and then being used before actually being stored and used efficiently. So now we'll go into actually how to make gauges and nodes, since a river is already created and you can make more nodes than what is already there established. So to elaborate what a node is, well, no, I already elaborate where the nodes are. They would usually be where your joints are, your elbows, your knuckles, and ankles, knees, pelvis, etc. They'll be around the pelvis. So now to make a gauge, it's kind of the same as making a node, so they'll be one and the same, I guess. When making a gauge / a node, you want to actually you want to meditate and then try to focus on this river of knowledge condensing into a what I call a wisp. It will start being like a fiery type of aspiration wherever you put this sigil at, basically. Or yeah, we'll stick with sigil. So the more you feed this aspiration with internal energy, you will actually start getting more and more like formated with it. So let's say you made a node or a gauge like right in the palm of your hand, right? It would just look like a wispy aspiration right here in your mind's eye, of course. Now, using the nodes around your palm right here, which would be in your knuckles, the main ones, they would easily start fueling into this gauge or the wisp, because there's already rivers flowing through the palm. You're just now placing a specific condensation in between that river. So it will naturally be able to fuel that with an internal energy, but it can't store any internal energy itself or any key itself, because it's not built yet for that. So the more you feed it, the more it will become bigger and bigger and actually become more of a circle or whatever shape is necessary for you. And the more you keep feeding it, the more potential and capabilities it has. So as a wisp, like I just said, it can't really store internal energy or any key. It can only eat internal energy to soon create key, which is what gauges do. Now, the more you feed it, the next stage would be actually a spectre, which is where it starts having shape and can start fueling itself with an internal energy, but it will start using most of that internal energy to keep feeding itself. So now it would be, instead of just 5 nodes, it would now technically be 6 types of sources that are feeding it internal energy, itself and the 5 others. While keep feeding this, it will finally turn into a node, and it will be able to actually take in external energy and turn it into internal energy. The Spectre beforehand was getting internal energy by taking it from the river itself. So now that you know how to make a node, we'll go into a gauge. Same exact thing, from a gauge to a node. No, from a node to a gauge. You want to keep feeding the node this time when you turn the aspiration into a node. You want to feed the node actually ki, which is from your stored riverdance, or from, what's it called? Or just if you already have a gauge, feed it from that. When doing so, this will probably take a while. I don't know how long it'll take because I haven't fully made my own gauge yet. I have about 3 gauges, but I didn't purposefully make them. So the timing for it can be also differing from the person that is doing so. There you go. That's how you make a gauge, and that's how you make a node. How to make a river pathway is really simple. It's like carving through a tunnel. It's really that simple. It's as if you meditate, and then you visualize whatever part of your body you wish to have a river through, if it doesn't already, or if you want to have multiple or intertwined. Quite literally, imagine yourself carving a new pathway of that river and having ki flow through that. So, quick disclaimer. After all of this, you may be slightly lost. Let me just quickly elaborate. So, ki, the energy of knowledge, it is able to take different forms. So your ki may not flow like water, it could flow like air, it could flow like fire, it could flow like anything. The rivers are able to be used as gauges if you don't already have a gauge. Nodes are always going to be there to store internal energy from external sources, i.e. nature, to feed the rivers. The gauges will be made if you manually make it, or if you already have a passion, or or just understand where you want to go in life. Ki, energy of knowledge, rivers also could be gauges, nodes, internal energy, and gauges store ki. Now, back into what I actually just said. Ki can be used into different forms. So what I found out is that ki has about 3 different strands. The first one being force, which is the actual ki itself, and that is whatever form is your own suit, or like your own way. I can't really tell you how that works because, again, your ki could be different than mine. Now, to elaborate a bit more on force is, you can kind of think of it like Star Wars. I'm gonna be honest with you. You could use the actual ki itself to do pushes, to pull things towards you, to actually gain knowledge from something else, or have external sources talk to you more clearly. You can also connect your consciousness to different sources, like this tree right in front of me, or whatever you're posted on, and of the others. I'm not really an expert in this. I'm letting you know what I already know. That's why it's also so rickety. I'm sorry. The next strand is called neuro, which again, these are the ones I labeled. I'm the one that found out about this, so I am the founder of ki, being completely honest with you. So the next one is neuro, which allows you to use different knowledge of different energies, which means, yes, you're able to control different elements. That includes darkness, light, electricity, fire, air, water, and of the others. Plant, earth, all that such. Now, this is all solely limited to your imagination, but at first you will have to use your ki to connect with this energy or element. Now, to make this sound easier, I'm actually going to explain that after the third strand. So the third strand is carbon, which allows you to materialize ki into a construct. A construct is literally being like this plant right here. This would be a plant construct. This one grass blade right here. It's literally making a materialistic matter from your energy. Now, to what I was going to explain beforehand, to elaborate how this could make a lot more sense and why this works for me, is because my ki is an energy that is quite literally the essence of knowledge. Now, I know I said ki is pure knowledge, and that is still 100% correct, because that means you're able to adapt whatever type of knowledge you wish to get from external sources. However, my ki is actually the essence of knowledge, meaning I can manipulate the actual knowledge of energies and just the knowledge of my own energy and myself and matter, etc. So, what does that mean? Basically, my ki is able to be anything I want it to be, or do anything I want it to do, have any property I want it to have, etc., etc., etc. Your ki could possibly be a fiery type. My ki is like water, but it's like cold pressure, if that makes sense. It's like the depths of the sea, but that is like the pressure of it solely. Ki has its own aura amongst your actual life force aura energy already. This barrier, technically the ki barrier, is able to be strengthened and felt. It will be like your presence, as well as your I guess your emotional, energetic impression on other people. This could be changed to be more menacing or more delightful. So yes, how to actually start ki? That's a good question. Simple, honestly, meditation, and you would have to ask your own mind. I started with my mind. I asked itself, I'm like, so I want to control what I first called neural energy, and that was the actual essential energy of your mind to be used as an external source, or the actual fundamentals of telekinesis. And how to talk with it. If you haven't seen my other video, go watch it. Vibrational calling and calling archetypes. Really useful stuff. Now, I think the final part of what I want to get into about ki is that this is tricky. Ki is beyond tricky, and I'm not gonna lie to you that it may not work for a couple months. I've been working on this for at least about almost a year, and it took me maybe this year, in the beginning of January, where I actually started making good progress. This takes commitment, this takes a lot of dedication and a lot of belief. You must believe in yourself, but I promise you with every fiber in my body that this is true. That is all. Love you guys. We're gonna go say hi to that cat real fast, because we have to bother the cat. Hey, you wanna say hi? Oh, you don't wanna say hi to the, I'm not. Nope, it's running away. Got it. That's all I had to say. All right, love you guys. Hope you guys benefit from this video. Jesus Christ, the light is bright. Let me know if you guys are interested in the community. I will be making it hopefully soon. It will be paid. I will let you guys know that now. But if you guys are still interested, stay tuned. Love you guys. Hope you benefit from this video. Stay blessed, stay lucid, and as always, stay frosty.